Good evening. The WA state budget was announced by Treasurer Christian Porter at the State Parliament today. Reporter Alexandra Mollo joins us now with some highlights.
Yes, Ivan, and good evening. The state government has announced this morning the new measures on this year's WA state budget, mentioning a $196 million surplus for the current financial year. Treasurer Christian Porter said that strong economic growth of 4.75% was forecast in Western Australia for 2012-2013. However, despite WA's economic growth, the state has faced a challenging revenue and fiscal outlook. It was also announced a payroll tax relief for companies employing people with disability and from Indigenous descent. Disability Service Minister Helen Morton supports the initiative as it would ensure that jobs are accessible and consequently supporting communities' economic growth. In addition, the WA's Council of Social Service announced an investment of $58 million to provide new child health nurses and $29 million for the establishment of child and parent centres. Affordable housing was also a priority as it is expected that the $130 million allocated to the construction of social house dwellings will provide around 433 houses by 2014. However, the Council highlighted that despite the initiative taking place and helping Australians in need, it will not reduce the waiting list for public housing applicants. And that's all from me at Parliament House. Back to you, Ivan.
Thanks, Alex. The state opposition leader, Mark McGowan, is not happy with the state budget as the cost of living and the state debt increased. Despite the cost of living payment was announced in the budget, the opposition leader said only 1/3 of WA families will be benefited from the payment. Mr. McGowan also said the state's net debt has increased by $3.4 billion.
In total, there has been a 62% increase in electricity costs on ordinary families up until now. On top of that, a 47% increase in the cost of water for ordinary families up until now. The debt increase is nothing short of astounding. We now have debt going to $18 billion and in the year after this budget, $24 billion. That's up from $3.6 billion when the Barnett government came to office.
During the afternoon, there are mixed responses from different unions regarding the announcement of State Budget 2012 to 2013. Here's an extract of their comments.
The Future Fund, a very significant aspect of this budget. That is something that we welcome. It's obviously long-term, it's funded out of existing royalties, and I think that is an initiative the West Australian public will welcome.
We welcome the large infrastructure program. It's slightly disappointing to see that many of those new projects that have been announced do not start for at least 2 years, and there has been a deferral of some of the budget of some of the major projects in order for the government to meet its budget surplus.
The new cost of living allowance is really welcome. That will be a $200 annual payment for 1/3 of Western Australian households that will be eligible. That equates to a 53% benefit, a $53 annual benefit on top of the value of the current supply charge rebate that they receive. While that's welcome, again, it doesn't offset all of the impacts of the charges that we've seen over the recent years.
The government doesn't realise we're dealing with a two-speed economy. There's nothing in this budget for West Australian families that are doing it tough, you know, whose utility bills have gone up over 60% in the last few years, you know, who are struggling with higher rents and with a massive higher cost of living in Western Australia.
No, the budget's not going to help me. I earn just over $41,000 a year. I have dependent children at home. I'm still paying off my last electricity bill when I'm getting the new one in.
Again, a deep concern to those in the public hospital system. The 7% increase that's been given to health is well below current demand trend. And on top of that, price indexation, wages are going to go up much more than 4% this year. So we can no way cope with the demand that's coming through our system with that increase.
Just before we go, a quick look at the weather for Friday. There will be a chance of showers with maximum of 21 degrees and the relative humidity is 94%. And that's the news summary on WA's state budget. Thanks for watching. See you later on the evening news. Good night.